Hi, Joe Sakwa, very happy to be here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Patricia Chano Kiria. I'm happy to be part of this conversation today.
Yes, that's quite exciting. I am very, very excited for what we have to discuss today. Now, before we even start, I want to find out from my team, Dr. Patricia, on a scale of 1 to 10, how truthful and honest do you think you are?
Thank you very, very much. Well, it is very difficult to do a self-evaluation, but maybe I will talk about honesty. It's a quality of being truthful. It's a quality of walking in the light. It's a quality of being down to earth, I would say. Because honesty has got its advantages. And when you marry it with truthful, you see that it works out better. But I will share a very interesting example. I have told bits of lies that have worked out for me, either negatively or positively. I recall a time when I was working with the Uganda Human Rights Commission, and I was a personal assistant to the chairperson. And an opportunity came for me to go and train women at the grassroots to talk about inheritance laws. So, and I kind of feared to tell my boss the truth. So I told her secretary that, I'm not feeling well. And off I went to Kumi to talk about will writing, inheritance laws, and when I came back, my pictures are all over the New Vision and a top newspaper while I was teaching the women. So my boss saw it and said, hey, so Patricia, you speak at ESO. I said, stop. It was very embarrassing. I was doing a good thing, but I did not walk in the light. So when we talk about honesty, it is very important to uphold the truth at all times because it's an important substantive value with a close connection to the truth.
Yes.
Yes. So with that example, I think it was not good what I did. If I walked in the light, I think she would have been very excited and even supported me that please go and do a good job out there. Yes.
Yeah. Joel, on a scale of 1 to 10, how truthful and honest are you?
Dr. Patricia has tried to avoid the scale. But certainly I would go for 5 out of 10. Because
you're doing a good job. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, personally, if honesty is quite tied, truth and honesty are tied to what you say and what you do. Of course, women don't. We are generally always reserved. So to catch us in places of not being truthful is quite difficult. But but anyway, I would say that it's something I am working on. I'm definitely working on it.
Work in progress.
Yes,
I'm a work in progress. Yes.
Monica, you've been laughing at Joel. For you, what's the scale?
Chances are high my dad is watching, so
you have to be truthful and honest today, regardless of if dad is watching or not.
well, truth has been it's a work in progress. We're struggling, we're building, we're growing, getting out of that space. But I understand the importance of being honest and being truthful. Yeah. And I will fall back a bit on the scale because that is also the beginning of being honest. Yeah, like shining the light, and then you're like being real with yourself, and you're knowing that with ABCD I'm weak in this area, so I'm working on it, and then with ABCD I can actually deal with that. So honesty, like Dr. Patricia and Joel have ably put it, it's a work in progress. It's a very important aspect. I like her example, and I can already think of 1,000 but let me not scale.
I think if I was to scale myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll go with maybe 6 out of 10. I'm doing a pretty good job. But I'm very interested to find out from you, Monica, when you were growing up, was truthfulness and honesty something that they said openly, directly, or like indirectly through the things like your parents used to do?
Well, I haven't had the best experience of truthfulness and honesty, honestly speaking. Oh, that's a nice one. Yes. So, I've been, okay, I think growing up, I wasn't given a chance to appreciate the importance of truth. Because every time I told it, there was a sanction, all right? You break a plate, they're beating you for breaking the plate. But if you keep quiet about it, no one will know. We are many kids. No one knows who did what. No one saw you. You're like, it's easier to roll like that. But then as you grow up and you enter into spaces, you realize that people relate with you on the basis of how true you are and how honest you are. And then you realize it is no longer, truth is no longer an option or something you say simply because of ABCD or you decide to reserve, but it's something that opens you up. It's something that gives you an added advantage. It's something that actually makes people respect you more. Yeah, so it becomes bigger. But personally, it's still, we're growing because truth has always had sanctions. But now I understand it's not about sanctions because I'm at a place where no one will beat you for saying the truth. You're old enough to be open and honest about it. But now it comes back to you as an individual. Do you appreciate being honest and true?
Joel, do you think the way you grew up maybe affected your 5 out of 10 skill?
Definitely, because growing up, it was something of safety. You're looking for a place where you're going to be safe. So sometimes you have to tell the lie, you throw it there to feel safe. And I think it's out of such an environment that we find out who we really are, what we really stand for. And of course, it affects us more so negatively, because who will ever trust you when you cannot even trust yourself? Of course. So honesty was really a difficult thing to get around. Of course, they will tell you, you should tell the truth. You're not being honest. Here you're hiding something. But for us personally, it's a place of safety. You need to be in a space where you are safe to speak out something, even if it affects you. So that's where the issue was as I was growing up.
Defenses up all the time.
Defenses up all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dr. Patricia, I know you always working with things in regarding to truthfulness and and lies and dishonesty. Do you think sometimes people in those bigger offices do these things because maybe they were not, like they did not have the safe spaces to be honest when they were younger, as these guys have already said?
Personally, I think for the things I'm dealing with in office at the moment, corruption top on the agenda. When you look at corruption today, it's a form of dishonesty. It's a form of dishonesty. And how does it happen? When people begin to hide things, when people begin to take bribes in secret, when people begin to present wrong documents like academic papers to get jobs, when people abandon the truth and live on falsehood. So that is how you see corruption thriving out. But if we talk about harnessing a character of truthfulness and conduct, then that means we need to conduct ourselves in a manner that portrays this solid quality of truthfulness and honesty. And growing up, I recall reading the Bible, righteousness and truth are the foundations of the throne of God. So to be called or identified as a child of God, you need to walk the truth, walk the talk. But as human beings, we often fall short of God's glory. So, and that is why we go back to your scaling. And it is difficult to begin, apportioning oneself marks that I walked this way and I walked that way. But honesty basically implies telling the truth. It implies responsible behavior and seeking to abide by the rules that are set. Following the example of which you had shared a short while ago, when growing up, your parents are disciplinarians. Who has broken that glass? You break it and you're like, well, I think I'll hide in here. But we are urging young people out there to be as truthful, to come out and talk about it, because the truth shall set you free. We're having problems in government today because of dishonesty. And going back to our national values, honesty and upholding and defending the truth at all times is our second national value, which all Ugandans out there must uphold and promote and encourage and instill in their children. Because today, children are stealing sugar at home, and they are not truthful. You see someone has sugar on the mouth, say, who ate the sugar? Not me.
Johnny, yes,
Johnny,
Papa.
then you find disciplinary action comes in.
I know.
You know. And then some parent will just sit back and keep quiet, but you'll be spoiling the child, because spare the rod,
Spoil the
spoil
child.
So I think it is something we need to dig from that perspective and ensure that we spread the knowledge out there. Because when you see honesty today and truthfulness, it has got a lot of advantages. A lot of advantages. First of all, for career mobility, it is very exciting to employ someone who is honest, who portrays the quality of truthfulness. And you find that employers actually promote the employees who portray those characters.
That's true.
So you find that even honesty and truth leads to strong bond among people. It promotes trust. Yes, you will trust someone who is honest, who is truthful in his lifestyle.
Now, Dr. Patricia, let's just pause on those advantages. Let's take a break. When we get back, we'll be diving more on how truthful and honest you are. Welcome back to Your Space. You're still here discussing truthfulness and honesty. Now, Dr. Patricia, you're still telling us about the advantages of being truthful and honest in our daily lives. But I always see a lot of the gentlemen lying to very many women these days in Uganda. And I don't know, Sakwa, why is this so? Why?
Why should you pin us this much?
It's a popular opinion.
Okay, it is. Honestly, I don't really believe that we are that so much of liars as compared to you ladies.
Why?
I think it's a shared wrong. I think we should share the blame, because honestly, you cannot just jump into and blame us for every sort of lie that is out there.
But you've lied more.
Not really. It's tough.
I think Joel is lying to us
It's
again.
tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I think one of the things that very many people have as an excuse for lying is, no, because when we tell you the truth, you will not believe us, so there is no environment for us to be truthful to you.
We won't handle it.
We won't handle it. Do you think that's true, Monica?
No.
That maybe an environment, is there a certain kind of environment we can create for people not to lie?
Truth is not supposed to be optional. It's not supposed to be something that, like I was sharing earlier, that as I grew into adulthood, I realized that truth is not something you say simply because this time maybe I won't be beaten for it, or I won't be, looked at a certain way. Truth is... It's a sign of love and respect you have for the other party hearing it, all right? Because if we are friends and you did something and you love me and respect me, you understand the depth of the foundation of our relationship, you should be free enough to tell me that truth, because you should also be sure, Sakwa, men, you should be sure that whatever truth you are telling me has nothing that is going to, it's not going to affect whatever is happening between us now, right? Whether in friendship or, whatever space it is. So truth is not optional. It is a sign of love and respect for the other party receiving it.
Yeah. Equally, they say women do not like listening to the truth, right? Right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. They want you to tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've actually watched a TikTok video. It was trending recently, and then they asked this lady in an interview, so what do you want from men? And she was like, we want men to lie and pretend not to be themselves. And then remain in that character
That is
till
very
the day they
subjective.
die.
Okay, that's hard.
That's hard. That's hard. But I know that sometimes we like to blame these disrespectful and dishonest things so people are high up, but I've seen this very common in Makerere University, yeah, where the reflection happens at our national level. I participated in politics at the previous 88th election, and let me tell you, lies were the topic of the entire election. You come and ask somebody to vote for you, and the next day they're like, yes, Hannah, you have our vote. And then the next day they are sharing the same link that is disrespecting you and claiming all these different things you've done. I know, Monica, you have seen a lot of this happening at university.
Not only at university, but literally everywhere. Yeah, but okay, yes, it's something that happens. People do that a lot, but then again, it still goes back to foundations, guys. If truth, people have sidelined certain important things so much, honesty and truth and all those things. So sometimes you'll be like, girl, let me just push her. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Let me give her that smile and let her go. But then, and then later on, while you're sharing something that is tearing her down, like, do you go to sleep at night, and do you actually sleep well after doing something like that? I am so against that entire notion anyways. Maybe Sakwa.
But sometimes you don't want to annoy somebody. You just want to keep them in a state where they can.
Are you justifying a lie?
You just
lies have short legs, people.
They have short legs. They move, and before you reach, they are broken.
Of course, you must create that environment that can make it possible to tell the truth.
To tell the truth.
Even the way
take the truth, then you tell me the truth.
Even the way you approach the person. Even the way you approach the person. I want you to tell me honestly, are you going to vote for me? Okay. That can be a tough question, right? But then you need to create
an environment.
Yes, an environment that makes it possible. But otherwise, unless
Dr. Patricia, do you?
if it's not that, then lies will be the order of the day.
Do you think that's true, Dr. Patricia? Creating that environment.
I think it's not environmental related. It is foundational. Because honesty and truth leads to strong bonds among people. And people trust those who are always truthful. I know when we go to the topic of relationships, which is something touching to the youth, they tell lots of lies to their girlfriends and their boyfriends about who they are, what they like, so many lies. But eventually the lies catches up with you. Before you make the final decision to marry someone, you have to do what they call the background checks. You have to do due diligence. Because when you add up and discover someone had told you so many lies, automatically that is a point to throw the person out. Campus politics, the example you gave, people tell lots of lies. And if you go to our national politics today, the same thing is happening. Now we are talking about honesty and truthfulness as a value we really need to spread out there. It begins with young people. It is a foundational thing. If this starts at home, and you know that for me, the truth and only the truth shall set me free, then you can live an excellent life. Just imagine if your life has been all full of lies, and now the moment of truth comes and you begin unpacking. People are like, oh, so this person did this, so this person cheated exams, so this person is not fit to be holding this position, so this person, even the person he married was not supposed to be his wife. So it becomes very, very difficult to undo. But if you live a plain life of truthfulness, of walking in the light, of, promoting these values of, then you find that you build yourself a positive reputation. If they are looking for someone who is honest, it is you they will pick. They will say it is Monica who is very truthful and I think she can hold this position. So honesty, even in business, leads to customer loyalty. Customers would like to go to buy things from people who are honest, who have integrity, and then it leads to their business successes. Yes. So it is very important for us to engage more deeper into this conversation and try to inspire as many people out there to live for truthfulness and honesty. Yes.
For me, I've experienced how sweet it can be to be honest. The time I decided to be honest with my parents about the things I do, where I go, people's life has been sweet. Before, I would get like, my dad hates me taking borders because they're very dangerous. And that's what he thinks. So there are times when I would get a boda, and I know I lied to you that I'll get a taxi. But the whole time you're in a boda, your heart is pumping. Whichever car passes by, you're like, is that my dad? Is that my... the entire tension that you are on every time you're lying comes to an end when you decide to be honest. Yeah. And even now, I feel like way happier. I don't know, Monica, do you feel relaxed and like less stressed?
Yeah, when I started living out a little more, honestly, it also took some unnecessary burden off. You don't have to be too careful about everything and every step. I mean, they know you're here, so it is okay even if some random picture is taken and it shows that you're here. So it's very okay.
What about you, Sabwa? Do you feel a bit lighter or you feel stressed?
Of course,
when you start to tell the truth.
Men are stressed by the truth.
Do you feel?
Of course, the more conscious you are about telling the truth, the safer you feel around those people that you love. I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll be finding out, now that we know that it's good to tell the truth and be honest, is it really essential for us? Welcome back to Your Space. We are still here discussing how truthful and honest you are. Now, I know there are some times when there are some situations that are quite difficult for us to be as truthful as we can. And then we find ourselves giving white lies. Monica is laughing at the white lies. Do you think that this compromise is sometimes acceptable? These white lies are sometimes acceptable. Sometimes.
I've told many white lies to my dad. So, personally, I think so. Okay, to some extent, you have to look at, maybe if you look at the weight and if telling that, okay, let me just give an example, right? My dad is not the best dancer in the world, but he believes he knows the best, how to dance, right? So at every family gathering, he wants his number played. And he wants like a spotlight moment, and he's not doing it well. So there is an option of you coming and saying, man, bro, sit down, you're not doing it. And then there's an option of, I'm just wait for the song to end, let him sit down and you guys move on. Like, you've not done anything wrong. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily the truth either.
Yeah, but
common good.
Common ground.
Peace.
But I know a lot of truth tellers that champion tough love. Tough love, meaning you are being brutally honest. Sakwa, do you need women to be brutally honest with you?
Honestly, some truths do not help. Like they make the situation worse.
Like which one?
Like the one I've given.
Of course, you can tell a truth. For example, you tell it to an elder and it looks bluntly like this.
Yeah, it looks like disrespect?
Yes, like disrespect. So sometimes you just can't do some healthy compromises. Omission. I know that an omission is.
Is an omission? Is an omission a lie, doctor? Is an omission a lie if we omit some personal information?
Thank you very much. If you have responsibility to carry out and you just avoid it, it is dishonesty. It is dishonesty because you did not explain earlier why you're not able to carry out that responsibility. So an act or omission in law is actually an offense, yes, and is punishable.
It's just
yes. So when you look at dishonesty, from the corruption perspective, dishonesty actually amounts to corruption. Because when you look at neglect of duty or absenteeism, those are acts of corruption. Diversion or the example of theft you have given of public funds, those are acts of corruption. Abuse of public office, misuse of the office you've been given, or embezzlement, those are all acts of corruption. And it starts like a small lie. It starts from home. Then later on, someone gets this office and begins to do some of the things. But as a nation, you realize that being truthful and honest benefits the nation. It leads to national development because the funds which are supposed to be used for development cannot be diverted. They are put to the right use. And if people are honest, it also leads to increased productivity, especially in public office. People will keep time, people will produce output, people will interact truthfully with one another, and there is going to be quality conversation because people are walking in the light. At the end of the day, there is also trustworthiness. People will be trustworthy, and that trust will be built. So you find that it will lead to improved service delivery. So this truthfulness and honesty contributes tremendously to national development. Even in terms of our international relations, countries out there would like to relate with countries that are truthful, that are honest, that are walking in the light and doing businesses clearly, openly. Yes.
But now that you know that that's important, I don't know how then can we have this as part of our daily lives? Because it's hard, especially for some of us that have reached a level where it's very hard for us to now change. I think there's that proverb that says, when the plant is grown, you cannot bend it. I don't know how to say it.
Akacha mama mida in Luganda. Akacha mama mida. Yes, wokagola kamenye kabumenyes.
Katisakwa, what can we do?
I think it's a consciousness issue. We need to, most of people my age, we live our lives just running through. The day starts, it ends. We're not even conscious about what we've said. We're not conscious about what we've done. We should be more conscious about our actions, our words, what we say, what we do. And if it is so, then we can really gauge how far we are with truthfulness and honesty.
Dr. Patricia, how then can we encompass the truth? How?
Thank you very much, Hannah. When you look at truthfulness, the values of truthfulness and honesty can be upheld, can be promoted, if we accept to have a mindset change among the young people. And then together, we begin to work at it. And you'll find that in so doing, we'll be even minimizing acts like corruption through inculcating these moral values into our own children. And we'll have a better nation to live in, especially when people are truthful, when they walk in honesty, and these values are inculcated in them. So at the end of the day, I see a mindset positive change among the young people. Which young people are the future leaders of this country? The grown-ups will begin to learn from the young people, because I know the grown-ups do the things while they know, but young people do not know. That's why the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And we have just learned that righteousness and truth are the foundations of the throne of God. So it is very important for us to take that truthfulness and honesty as our values, which should be inculcated into our children, into the young people out there, the youth, in the universities, so that we have excellent students who are honest and truthful at all times. Thank you very much.
Mindset change, and also chanting. As much as we, the youth, love to chant, self-love, love yourself, I think we could also just add, let's be honest, let's be truthful to our chants that we have each and every day. It's been a great time having you here on Your Space. See you next week, same time, same place, here on Your Space.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! First school fees I teach you. When I'm going to move school, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious, you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, where? Jerry,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.